Being born in 2000, it's wild to think that movies, games, and even outfits I grew up around are now considered nostalgic. There was so much character in the early 2000s, and I continue to be a fan of everything created around then. I love the creative risks that were taken, and it's something that's lacking today. Being a huge hip-hop fan, I'm always trying to find more things that bring me closer to the culture, whether it's finding cool hip-hop comic books, clothing collabs, or watching my favorite rappers in movies.
Scott cashed his whole check and bought one ho-ho.
There's one thing I've always wanted to get my hands on, something that I knew would scratch my hip-hop nostalgia itch. The 2004 video game Def Jam Fight for New York. It has a cult following with fans constantly asking for a remake. The game captures the energy of real hip-hop rivalries, and after watching the Kendrick and Drake beef unfold, I felt the urge to see what all the hype was about. So I went out and bought an original Xbox just to play it on. Def Jam Fight for NY, or DJFFNY, is a 3D fighting game where you play as artists signed to Def Jam, plus other hip-hop legends like Snoop Dogg, Busta Rhymes, and Ludacris, and even actors like Danny Trejo. Hip-hop was everywhere in the early 2000s. Rappers weren't just in music, they were in movies, games, and more. Examples like Ludacris in the Fast and Furious series, or Exhibit in the NFL Street video game. Hip-hop soundtracks were in a ton of video games as well. But Def Jam took it further. It wasn't just a game with hip-hop in it, it was a full-on hip-hop experience. Artists actually had input on their characters, how they looked, how they fought, how they sounded.
Hey yo, this is Ghostface. Go home and cry to your mama, and while you at it, tell her I'm hungry.
With 67 playable characters and 20 different venues, there were endless ways to play this game. You can interact with your environment, throw people into the audience, smash them into a speaker, and use weapons like pool sticks and bottles. And fighting styles are a mix of wrestling and street fighting, with brutal finishers when your blaze meter is full. It's kind of like Mortal Kombat's X-ray attacks. And the story mode was great. You know, you create your own character, choose their voice, fighting style, and even customize their clothes. The in-game T-Mobile Sidekick lets you check your texts and voicemails, which helps further the story along, and that's just peak 2000s nostalgia for you. And the story itself is solid. You know, you're working your way up through the underground fight scene with Snoop Dogg as the main villain. Like, what's better than that? So when you're playing the game, the nostalgia hits immediately, but the game still holds up today. Maybe there's slight stiffness that you have to overcome from using a original Xbox controller, but I have had a blast every time I turn on this game. Because of how special Def Jam is, it's one of the most rare games you can buy. And it makes you wonder, why don't we get hip-hop games like this anymore? A Def Jam game today would be a massive hit, but the industry makes it hard, you know? Dealing with microtransactions.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 full-priced games with ridiculous microtransactions.
In a game made today, you'd probably get 5 characters and then we'll have to spend endless money on getting more characters. And also, don't even get me started on the licensing cost to use a rapper's likeness or even use their music in a video game. Back in the early 2000s, hip-hop still had a stigma of being too loud or too violent, but they still made this game work. Now, hip-hop is bigger than ever. Kendrick Lamar just performed at the Super Bowl, and rap dominates the charts. Yet we still don't have a game that's like this anymore. For me, playing Def Jam Fight for New York, or DJFFNY, isn't just about nostalgia. It's about reconnecting with a time when hip-hop, gaming, and creativity all collided in the best way possible. So thank you guys for watching. If you played this game, please tell me your favorite memory of playing this game in the comments, and who your favorite character is to play.